Good morning, everyone. It's Tammy, and today I'm going to make a notebook holder. So I'm got this as a gift from a friend of mine, and I absolutely love it. And I thought, you know what? I need to make some of these. So I kind of kept it away so I wouldn't use it so I could figure out how to make it. And this weekend was the weekend that I did it. So yay! So it's adorable. It has, cover on all sides, and I love Snoopy, so it's perfect for me. And then you open it up and there's a notebook, and then there's a little pocket that you can put things in, and she happened to put some really cute Snoopy goodies in here for me, which is just fabulous. But I thought that this was adorable, so I thought, okay, let's see if I can reproduce it. So then I made this one, and it has a little pocket, but I didn't do it quite exactly as great as I could have. I don't know if you can tell, but this is not very wide, and it's actually kind of smushed down. I mean, it's still really cute and very usable, but it's not exactly the dimensions that I wanted. So then I tried it again, and this one seems to be way better. This one is more accurately like the one that she made. So I wrote the dimensions down, yay, because I don't always do that. And I'm going to make another one with you guys right now. But I need to grab a notebook. And it was perfect because I had 3 notebooks. So I can make 3 of them. And I know that you can get these notebooks at like any office supply store. So I'm thinking that I might make these for some of the people in my office as Christmas presents, because I think they're just adorable. So what you'll need is a pad of paper. These measure 5 by, I should have written it down, I think it's 5 by 8, but let me just double check. It's almost 5 by 8. So that's the size that you would need if you want to make them just like this and follow these dimensions. You're going to need 1 sheet for the base. So this is going to be the cover, the base of the cover. And then this is going to be the pocket on the inside. So you need those 2. You also need layering sheets. You need 2 sheets of 8.5 by 11 for layers. You won't use all of it, but it's better just have it. And I would recommend that at least this is thick cardstock. I like for both of these to be thick, just because I like the way it feels when it's solid and thick. You don't want this to be all flimsy, so it's going to be layered up. I mean, there's several pieces of paper here, so it will be pretty sturdy. But and you can turn it this way. It's just kind of a handy little notebook. So I would use thick cardstock. I like to use the Whisper White and the Basic Black from Stampin' Up, but that's because I'm a demonstrator and I get a discount, which is why I do it. And then you're going to want some designer series paper, and I picked some out of a pack that matched. And like I said, I am a Stampin' Up demonstrator, but I like to use lots of different things. And this was one of the $5 packs, the Hot Buys from Michaels, and it has all sorts of really cute paper. I'm not sure, but I think that if you picked out 3 pieces of paper, you could probably make 2 of these. I haven't tried that because what I do with my extra is just put them in here, but I have plenty of extra from the ones that I have made. So I don't know, I want them to be different, but if you were mass producing them, like let's say for a craft fair or something, I think that if you use 2 pieces of paper, you could get it all, but I'm not positive, but you could figure that out. And I really liked this, and often I will leave this little tab in the book, but because it had this cute leopardy print, I thought, ooh, I want to keep that too, because you use a little piece over the notebook, and I thought that this would work out perfectly for that. So I'm going to go ahead and rip that off. All right. So let's start with the base. Let's go kind of base and then layer and then the designer series paper. So for the cover, you need to get your 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, And this is super easy. You're just going to score this at 5 1/4. And then 5 3/4. So all you're doing is putting like a 1/2 inch spine in the paper. That's your base. So you're done with that one. And then you're going to need, from your other piece of 8 1/2 by 11 or whatever size you have, you just need to cut a 4 1/2 by 6 inch piece. So I'm going to cut this at actually, you know what I'm going to do? Let's see. 4 1/2. Yeah, I'll do it this way. 4 1/2 by 6. This is going to be the pocket. So I want to score this at, on the 6 inch side, at a quarter of an inch. And then again at 1/2 inch. And then I'm going to turn it over 180 degrees and do the same thing. A 1/4 inch and 1/2 inch. And then I'm going to turn it 90 degrees and I'm going to score it at a 1/4 inch and 1/2 inch. And we're just measuring right now, but yeah, we're just going to measure right now. So that's that. And so I'm just going to put this to the side, but this is going to be the pocket. So that's all of the white cardstock that I need. So now I'm going to move to the layer, which is the 8, or the, for me, it's the black cardstock. And I need 3 that are 8 1/4 by 5. And I know that this is 8 1/2. So I'm going to take this and cut it at 5 inches. And then I'm going to cut it at 5 inches again. And then I'm going to stack them on top of each other and cut it at a 1/2 inch. And I just lied. It was supposed to be an 8 1/4 by 5. Oh no. So, you know what? Oh, it'll be all right. It looks all right. Okay, 8 1/4 by 5. Do what I say, not what I did. Let me make sure I got it at 5. Yes, okay. So 8 1/4 by 5, and you need 3 of those. So there's the first 2. And then I'm going to use my second page, cut it at 5. And I'm going to do this one right at 8 1/4. So I'm just cutting a 1/4 inch off. So there's that one. And then I need one that is 3 3/4. So I'm just going to use what's left over here. 3 3/4 by 4 3/4. So 3 3/4 by 4 3/4. And then this strip that I cut off, I'm going to cut just shy of a 1/2 inch, or maybe just a little more than a 1/4 inch. This is totally optional. This is just to cover the inside of the spine and then the outside of the spine. But since it's there with the extra, I'm just going to go ahead and use it. And then I'm going to clip a 1/4 inch off of the end of that. So I have 2 of those, which are going to cover the spine for me. And so all of these are extras. You can toss them or keep them in your scrap pile or whatever you feel like you want to do. So now we can move on to the designer series paper, and I want 3 pieces that measure 8 by 4 3/4, and this is going to be the front, the inside, and the back. So 4 3/4 by 8. This one is 8, and I know that this is a 12-inch piece of paper, so I'm going to cut 4 inches off. And actually, now that I think about it, since I screwed up the last one, I should probably cut this a 1/4 of an inch smaller, but you guys will not have to do that. Yeah, I'm going to cut this down just a hair. So I'm cutting 2 of them down a hair. So you don't have to do that. So 8 by 4 3/4. So 1, 8 by 4 3/4. By 8, so that means I'm taking off 4, but in this case I'm going to take off a little bit more. 8 by 4 3/4. And then my last one is going to be 8 by 4 3/4. Now I know that I want the shoe addict to all the way fit on it, so I'm going to bring it over here and trim that so that I have my whole picture in there. And then 4 3/4 is here, and I want to see how much of it gets cut off, so I'm going to kind of play with it just to get my image in as much as I can. And I think that'll work. 8 by 4 3/4. So then I need to cut off 4 inches, and I want to cut it off from the top. And there we go. And then we need an inside piece that measures 3.5 by 4.5. And I really like this sheet, so I'm just going to try to see if I can use this. 3.5 by 4.5. And there we go. So I think we have all of the cutting done. We have a little bit of designer paper left. I like to store this in the paper pad just because then I know it's all together. And I'm going to trim this so that it's 5 inches long. And that will probably do it. And if not, I can snip another little piece of black if I have to. And you know what? I just might do that if I have anything extra over here that is long enough. Just because I would recommend that you cut this at 5 inches by 1 inch, and this is only about 1/2 of an inch. See, this measures 5 inches. Yeah, so I'm going to put these two together, I think. I will layer them like that and use it. So that way I have my inch. And it's just a guesstimate. I'll show you what it's for. It's really not, this doesn't have to be perfectly an inch or anything. Let me just put this on here, some little glue. And I like to use glue for this kind of a project, but I also have some of the extra sticky tape that we will use as well. And I'm not going to use kitty cat. I don't need the kitty cat. Thank you. I don't know if you heard my cat. That's Fuzzy. So there's the extra piece that I'm going to use. This and this are nothing. I'm just putting them in my, I'm going to keep it for now selection, and then I'll toss it when I know I'm done. I need a drink of coffee. So this is what we have. I don't know why I have this. I think that was from there already. So we have the base and the pocket. We have 3 pieces of cover layer and 3 pieces of designer paper layer. And then we have the pocket layer and the pocket layer. And did I not cut? I thought I did cut the little 1-inch squares. What did I do with those? Did I put them over here? Oh, I bet I did. These. So these are for the inside and the outside of the folder. So let's go ahead and prep. I am going to prep my notebook and the pocket first. So for my notebook, I am going to use some of this really strong adhesive, tear and tape. And I just want to put it around each edge. And for me, the best way to put this down is to press it really good with your finger when you're finished putting it down so that you know that it's stuck on here. So you just push it down really good. Okay, so there's that. It's just prepped. I'm not done with it yet, but it's just prepped. And then for the folder, you want to come in and miter the edges. So you're just going to clip off at an angle the edges where you don't want to cut into that last score line, but you want to cut right at that score line, like that. And then on these, you want to take your scissors and just go out at an angle from the second score line out. And it just helps make it look nicer when you are putting it together. So now that you've made those cuts, you're going to put this tear and tape on the outside score of all 3 of these. So with it facing you the way that you want it to be, you're going to put these down. So this is the right side of the paper that I'm putting this on. And that's all that I use the tear and tape for. The rest of the project I use glue. And I'm going to go ahead and score these, or fold these at the score line so that I know that they're good and ready to go. And you can burnish the edges with your bone folder if you'd like. Okay, so that's ready to go. You can see how that's a little pocket. If you wanted to put a little punch here, you could do that too, but I'm not going to. I think that the pocket is big enough that it's easy to slide things in and out. And then I'm going to take my cover and I'm going to burnish the edges of those folds. cute already. So then what I like to do is open this up and go ahead and put my layers on. So let me pull out my 3 pieces of 8.5 or 8.25 by 11. I'm going to put the nicest one on the front and then one on the back. So to put these on, I just use my glue. Go around the edges and then I get the middle really well. And then just center this up from top to bottom and right to left. And you're going to do that same thing to all 3 of these base layers. And then you're going to do it to the left side of the inside. And then you're going to take your designer series paper and kind of do the same thing. So I know I want this one on the front, I want this one on the inside, and then I want this one on the back. So I'm going to just take the one that I want here on the inside, glue all the way around, and then in the middle. And then this gets layered right on top of the base, like that. Then we'll turn it over, put the back side down. And I like having all the pieces cut and ready to go when I'm ready to build it, so that's kind of fun. I just thought I could even do this in a class if I wanted to. That would be fun, or you could if you are a teacher. Or this would be a nice holiday project to do. I might have to do that. If anyone lives close to Fishers, Indiana, and you are interested in doing a class like this, let me know. We could either do it, like make it generic for a gift, or we could make it Christmassy and you could use it for your list maker. That's cute. You could do all sorts of things. So there's the cover, isn't that cute? And then I'm gonna put one of those strips right here. So that's what these strips were for. And I trimmed it, but I don't know if I trimmed it enough. So I'm gonna trim it a little bit more. And I shouldn't be try to cut straight edges, but I figure that this is so small that it hopefully won't be noticeable that it's not totally straight. There we go. And then I'm going to do the same thing to the one on the inside with the other strip. Seems to be okay. Looks like I need to replace my blade soon. It's kind of jaggedy. So there we go. And then I'm going to move this to the side and get out these, and I'm just going to open this up and get my layered piece. glue all 4 sides and the middle. And put that down on the front of this pocket. And then the same thing with this one. And the last piece I want to just put right here to cover this up. All right, so then I'm almost done gluing. I'm going to use some glue for this, but let's go ahead and get this pocket in. So to do this, I'm going to make sure that these are stuck down there really well. And then I'm going to take my paper piercer, and I like to start at about 1/4 of an inch down and then just kind of stick my piercer through and try to wiggle it to get this paper up. And then this paper just peels back. If you try to take it like this, you will peel up the tape and it will ruin the tape, I mean, in that area, and so that area won't get stuck down, and those are some of the areas that you want to be most stuck down, the edges. So that's why I'm try to do it this way, and I just, like I said, I go in about 1/4 of an inch or so, 1/2 an inch. It doesn't really matter. You're just trying to get it underneath the, let's see, that one doesn't want to cooperate. You want to get it underneath the paper, but you know, not underneath the tape itself. There we go. You can kind of feel it when you get it. And this tape is really strong, so what I like to do is start at the bottom, and I try to make it as straight as I can. And I just push the bottom down. And then I carefully bring up these side edges, trying not to touch the tape too much. And I help guide it so that it closes. And once you get it where it's supposed to be, push it down, and then I take my bone folder and I go inside and just kind of push down those edges. So there's our pocket. And then take this and do the same thing with the paper, or the tape. And then I like to put some glue in the middle just because I'm kind of weird. You could even put more paper tape in there, whatever you want. I just want to make sure that thing isn't going anywhere. The only bad thing about doing it this way is that it's not refillable, but then you want this edge to line up with that score line so that it folds right up against that score line. So I put this down carefully, try to center it, and then before I actually stick it down, I just make sure that it will close up there and then put it down. I want to make sure that that score line folds. I want to make sure I don't have it on the score line, but as long as it's right up against it, it's perfect. And now you're done. Look at that. You can embellish it in any way that you wanted to, but it closes automatically. It has the cute little pocket. You can put whatever you'd like in there. You could probably even put a pin in there. Yeah, it wouldn't be, I mean, it would kind of stick out a little bit depending on the pin, but that's something you could do. I guess you could make a little pin holder on it, but how cute is that? And if you wanted to put some embellishments on, you could. Like I put a bow on this one just because it needed something with, it's just the all black. And then on this one, the paper was really cute, but I put a little embellishment on the back just because my friend that I'm giving this to likes this little guy. So I thought I'd add that to this. But that's all the embellishment that I used on any of these. And I think they're really cute and really practical. And I hope that you guys will try it. Thanks so much for watching and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.